What's up, YouTube? Do you want to know how much money I made in the month of March? Better yet, I want to show you. How would another 5,000, 10,000, 45,000, $100,000 per year do for you or per month? What I'm going to be talking about is wholesaling real estate. Well, essentially what it is you find a property off market for a discount and you promise a seller, let's say, hey, I'll buy this property off you for 10,000. You fill out an agreement. And then you go out and find another person who's actually willing to pay 20,000 for it because him or her are going to fix this house up, sell it for profit as well. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. So what happens is you have a contract with the seller and then you get a separate contract called the assignment agreement. Purchase and sale agreement with the seller, assignment agreement with the buyer. The buyer's 20,000 out of that proceed or out of that money, 10,000 goes to the seller, right? As you promised. But then the middle is yours. You make $10,000 for just connecting two parties and being beneficial to both sides. Let's jump into my screen right here. And I'll walk you through a, real life case study that, I've done. So what you want to do is this is what a purchase and sale agreement looks like. Under here is where you can have, your LLC name. I have it blacked out because that's what I have under there. But this is a one-page real estate purchase agreement, to buy properties off market. Let's see, can you see this better? There we go. So what you want to do is, you go meet with the person like I did. And long story short, the guy started at 20. I got him down to 12 and a half. And here is where you would fill in your info, buyer. So you would say your LLC and then seller name here. You would type in a property address, 123, whatever, North Main Street. And then here you would put in the parcel number. And to get that, you would just go to your county's tax site and get that information. And then the price, in this, example, we had this property under contract for 12,500. And then what the rest of this all says is you have contingencies for you to back out for whatever reason you may not be able to sell it or whatever. Let sellers know, be ethical when you're wholesaling. Try not to put things under contract that you're not confident that you'll be able to sell to somebody else. And if you have to, close on it yourself, but that's different topics. So essentially, hey, this guy agreed to 12,500 and I send this agreement to a title company. Now, what the title company does is, they do a background check. They make sure that there's, no liens and other things prohibiting this sale to go through because the end buyer is not going to be able to buy it unless the title is transferable and clear. They're not going to want to. So what you do next is, once you have this signed and send off the title, you start busting your ass and you get into local real estate groups and type in whatever market you're in. Like I'm in Akron. You would just type in on Facebook, Akron real estate, and join every single Facebook group, and start posting your deal out there. Be careful on how you do this. Some places you're not allowed to put the actual property address. You can just say like whatever street it is. Main Street, and zip code. I got a property that's a 3-bed, 1-bath. Highlight the good things and maybe some of the bad, and hope you catch a buyer off of Facebook. It's simple. You can sell a lot of your deals on Facebook if you don't yet have a buyer's list. But so you have a contract with the seller. What you want to do next is when you do get a buyer is you want to get a assignment agreement assigned. So what that looks like is these documents right here. So what you do is what happens is the assignment agreement is allowing and giving the buyer rights now to the contract you have with the seller, right? Remember, we signed the purchase and sale agreement with the seller. Now you're giving up your rights to that agreement for a fee so that buyer now can close on his property, fix it up, sell it, and profit themselves. So, here you would, the buyer's going to sign this because they agree to your terms. They have to send earnest money deposit to the title company within 24 hours. Money on the wood makes it all good. Put that EMD in. If not, I'm still finding other people, who are going to guarantee the sale because I have a deadline with the seller. I also need to be ethical to them. And then, right here, you type in, this is a legally binding agreement, enter it into, whatever day that is, buyer or signing name here, seller or signer name here. This is, where you would put your name. This is where you would put the buyer's name, because now it's flip flop. You're actually selling, you're not buying. County, address, parcel ID, same stuff, and then now the purchase price that you're assigning it for. So for this instance, what I did is I assigned this for 31,000 to the next guy, but remember I only needed 12,500 to pay the other guy. Let's see, can I do this? Yeah, there we go. So now we go down to the bottom, and both parties agreed to close on or before. And make this short, cash buyers should be able to close soon, 3 days, 2 days, 7 days. Just keep it very short, because let's say for some reason this buyer backs out, and you sat there and had an open-ended agreement or had it out for 30 days or something like that. Well, you only got X amount of days to fulfill your promise to the seller. So keep it short. If they don't do it, you still have time to find another buyer. And then, you sign, the sellers or the buyer signs, you sign. And what I have in my contract is to mitigate some things with title, because title is going to reach out to, all parties. Why sit there and middleman more than you have to? Just put the buyer's info in there, and that way title company can directly reach out to them for their info. So now you send both of these contracts, you already have the purchase and sale agreement sent out to the title company so they can start a title search. Now you send the assignment agreement so they know who to reach out for the buyer, give him instructions on how to wire the money, and then you get to a closing table. So, for this deal, I offered the guy 12 and a half. I sold it for 31. That was a $18,500 assignment fee, which, you see right here. And that closed March 8th. Assignment fee, 18 and a half. That went to me. And then, you had more deals. I had, another one that closed 316, partnered with somebody, they came with the buyer. We made 10,000, split that, 5 and 5. Another one, same thing, another partnership deal. And then, a few more, but I don't care what somebody else is also going to make. Like, I also buy deals from other wholesalers, and I'm happy to pay them an assignment fee. You see here, this was $12,000 that I paid somebody else. He had the property for $80,000. I bought the property off him for 92. This guy made $12,000. Great. I don't care if you make 20, 30, 40, 50. It doesn't matter. As long as I also get my return on investment, I'm never going to count your pockets. And another thing, man, if you got buyers that, like ask you, what do you have it under contract for? Or how much are you going to make? I don't like already starting off on that foot. I don't like buyers like that. If you are going to make money and this works for you, there's no need for you to know how much I'm making. You do send them your purchase and sale agreement, because they want to know, like, hey, what did you promise this seller, as far as like maybe tenant situations with that, because I'm assuming this contract, and whatever that was, now I have to deal with. But what you do when you do send that to them, black out the purchase price. They don't need to know what you're making. But anyway, you make whatever, tens of thousands of dollars a sign in, and then I'll have this flip closing here in like 2-3 weeks for like another 40,000. I'll probably end up keeping this one as a rental, but it's not that difficult, and this stuff is life changing. Yes, it takes time. It's not as easy as people tell you. It sounds great, like just put it under contract, find a buyer. There's a little bit in between that people really don't talk about, like the $18,500 deal. That was a probate deal. Everybody on title wasn't around, unfortunately. One of the sellers passed away and never went through the probate process, or transferred ownership out of his name to the rest of the relatives. So that had to be done, and that takes some time. But if you're good at solving problems in this business, you can make some serious life-changing money. That's like the meat and potato of it. It's not that difficult. You have a purchase and sale agreement for a guy, and then you find a seller or a buyer. I'm sorry. and you connect those two at the title company. Buyer pays off the seller, and he also pays you off, and you make the money in between.